Speaking of type 2 diabetes, this is a disease that is 100% preventable. How do you prevent diabetes? You increase the nutrient to energy ratio of your diet. You see, type 2 diabetes is simply exceeding your ability to store energy in your body. You've overfilled your fat stores, you've overfilled your carbohydrate stores. It's energy toxicity. Type 2 diabetes is energy toxicity. And when you increase the nutrient to energy ratio of your diet, you will prevent this disease completely. Protein is the most essential nutrient of all. Whole food fat is also an essential nutrient. Carbohydrates exist only to provide added energy to the diet, and in fact, the requirement for carbohydrates in human diet is 0. Added fat, similarly, exists only to provide added energy. So every time you eat, you have a choice. You can feed your muscle or you can feed your fat. If you eat protein, you're going to feed your muscle. If you eat carbs and fats, this is pure energy and you're feeding your fat tissue. So you really have a choice every time you eat. You are what you eat. If you eat mostly energy, you're going to be mostly energy. And if you eat mostly protein, you're going to be mostly protein.
Well, let's start with bodybuilders. So the goal of every bodybuilder is to have the highest lean mass at the lowest fat mass. That's what every single bodybuilder is doing. That's their entire goal. That's their only goal. Your body has two compartments. You have the lean mass compartment, which is muscle, mostly muscle, also bone and connective tissue, and then you have your fat mass. So bodybuilders want the highest lean mass at the lowest fat mass. That's actually the goal of everyone out there, whether they know it or not. That's your goal. That's my goal. That's the goal of everyone who comes to see me. You actually want the highest amount of muscle at the lowest amount of fat. And that does a lot of things for you. First of all, muscle is awesome metabolically. It's great for disposing glucose, it's great for disposing energy. You have the highest metabolic flexibility if you have a lot of muscle. You also have more strength, and strength in muscle equals longevity. And the more muscle you have and the stronger you are, the longer you're going to live. On the other side, having lower fat gives you lower fasting insulin levels and lower insulin levels after you eat, and you're just basically way more insulin sensitive.
Insulin sensitivity. Cells that are insulin sensitive are much more efficient at using insulin to process glucose. This helps keep blood sugar levels more stable. It helps prevent many modern chronic diseases.
So for ultimate health, you really do want the highest lean mass at the lowest fat mass. Now, the way bodybuilders accomplish this is, first of all, with their diet, they prioritize the hell out of protein. They're going out of their way to eat protein, which partitions into lean mass, and then they're very, very careful with non-protein energy. They're either low fat, low carb, or some combination of both. And so they're partitioning as much of their diet into lean mass as possible, and as little of their diet into fat mass as possible.
In his diagram, Dr. Naiman shows prioritizing the hell out of protein foods, whey, fish, poultry, eggs, seafood, beef, steak, leafy greens, processed meats, leads to fat loss. Eating carbs and excess fat, like vegetable oils, flour, sugar, milk, peanuts, whole grains, potatoes, beans, leads to fat gain.
They're also doing resistance exercise with the highest intensity they possibly can.
High-intensity resistance training, repeating or continuing exercise to the point of momentary muscular failure. This is for strength and muscle growth. This can be weightlifting, sprinting, swimming, or other exercises focusing on shorter time and more intensity.
Because they want to send an optimum stimulus to their muscles to grow. They're trying to communicate to their muscles that they need to grow. That's the bodybuilder strategy. It's basically protein and lifting. Pretty easy.